Hey everyone, I'm Shane McMurray, CEO and founder of the Wedding Report. Thanks for joining us for this video podcast series where we're focused on wedding venues, caterers, bar service, and rental companies. Today I'm meeting with Ian. He's in the North Houston area. So Ian, thanks for joining us on the show and tell us about yourself and your business.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Shane. It's exciting to partner with the Wedding Report. Excited to be featured. So as Shane mentioned, my name's Ian Ramirez. I am the co-owner and venue director of Madera Estates. We are a Spanish European inspired wedding and event venue in Conroe, Texas, a suburb just north of, or a city rather, not a suburb of Houston. And I've been here now about 5 years, although our business will be celebrating 10 years in business this September, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, that's actually a really good accomplishment. I mean, if you get past 5 years as a business, that's a big accomplishment. Ian, what's your role at the company, and tell us like the website address and anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm the co-owner and venue director. So my main role as venue director, I manage day-to-day operations. I oversee our sales and marketing teams, social media teams, as well as our wedding coordinators and planners. So we're an all-inclusive wedding venue. We employ 2 full-time wedding planners that work exclusively for Madera Estates. So I oversee them as well as overall maintenance of the venue, operations, and then we have a sister rental company too that I oversee, Madera Lux. We specialize in luxury event rentals. So that kind of summarizes my role in a nutshell.
So you guys kind of handle the whole thing, right? Like, you could do the rentals, you have the planning staff to help with couples making sure they get everything they need. What about catering and things like that? You guys handle that part, or is it separate?
So we offer, Shane, customizable all-inclusive wedding packages. There are several services that we handle and manage in-house. As I mentioned, the wedding planning, the sister rental company, Madera Lux. We do have a TABC license, so all bar services are in-house. In terms of the additional services, we really have partners and different vendors that we have business relationships with here in the greater Houston area. So for catering, we outsource it. They have the option, our clients have the option to bring in an outside caterer. We have a buyout fee. So 90% of our clients will use one of our 3 in-house caterers, but we have partnerships with caterers, DJs, a fireworks vendor that has become really popular here in our venue, whether it's after the first kiss or at the grand exit at the end of the night. Photo booth can be added to their package. So we try to make it as stress-free as possible. And that's really the value of the client's experience here at Madera Estates, and really more of what we've become known for is that stress-free planning experience.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? Like today, I mean, more people are getting married at like the ceremony and reception are at the same location. Like I'd say it's when I first started, this was back in like 2004 timeframe doing research. I mean, it was literally like probably 60% of people were having their ceremony in a church or wherever, and then they would go and have the reception somewhere. Well, it's literally flipped. It's almost 75-25 now. It's insane. Like just do it all at the same place. It's so much more convenient and easy, I think.
I couldn't agree more. And like you said, the percentages, the ratios, the data that you're sharing. So what we see here, a majority of our couples will get married on site, host the reception here, and you hit the nail on the head. It's more convenient for them and their guests.
Yeah. Well, I've been to your venue, and it's a pretty amazing site. I love the whole Spanish architecture stuff. It's really cool.
Thank you. We love it too.
Yeah. So tell me, Ian, what's like the one thing that gets you excited about the work that you do?
I think my favorite element about what we do here at Madera Estates is really getting to know our couples. We're really focused on the relationships that we build. I would consider us a customer-centric business culture here at the venue. As a family business, we want to welcome our couples and our clients into our family, and our customer service really is something that we're proud of. This isn't some corporate transaction. It's not like going to the McDonald's of venues where you're just another number on the wall, come in, get married, and you're out. We'd love to really get to know our couples and they become part of our family. We even have clients that come back, a few years later, maybe they're about to have a child and they do maternity photos here.
Nice.
We keep it within the family too. Sometimes we have several families that have had siblings get married a couple of years apart at the venue. I even had my first mother had her second marriage here at Madera Estates, and then her daughter was a bridesmaid in her wedding, and then she came back 4 years later to get married at Madera Estates.
Awesome.
So we really do pride ourselves on building that relationship with our clients. So I would say, Shane, that's my favorite element, is getting to know our couples, really building relationships. I'm naturally a curious person. I don't know a stranger. I'm easy to talk to. I feel I can naturally find something in common with somebody.
Awesome.
So I would say, yeah, that's my favorite element. And then on wedding day, I was thinking about this too. If there's one thing that I love, it's that moment right after they get announced, I do. You can kiss your bride or groom. They turn around and everybody's cheering, because like months and years of all that pent up stress has like just been released. Right now, they can go enjoy the party, go enjoy a bar, enjoy a cocktail at the bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I love about the wedding industry and what we do.
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that. Like the whole, like this 18 months, 2 years, three, depends, right? 3 years, 4 years, all comes to culmination right when that happens, and just like, yeah, all right, we're done. Let's go. Right. Yeah. Starting in a whole new, it's like just starting fresh.
No, it really is. And for me, it's kind of like the structure of stories. I'm really into storytelling. And it's that moment right there. That's like that one important moment in the whole story where it's just like, and then we got married and the fireworks went off and we danced the night away. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just love that moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Tell me a little bit about like the process that couples go through. They call you, email you. What do they go through really to get booked with you guys?
Yeah, so I would say 90% of our couples are contacting us either through our website or social media now. So they inquire with us. Once they inquire, I would really say the next step for us is really to make sure that they're a right fit. We're qualifying our clients to make sure that it's mutually beneficial. We don't want to waste anybody's time and respect people's time, especially in this day and age. We're talking earlier about people's attention spans. And so, we just want to quickly address their needs, see if it's a great fit, and then continue the conversation. So once we've identified that they're a Madera client or potential Madera client, and they feel the same way, we'll invite them out for an in-person tour. And for us, that in-person tour is the most important element of the booking process. Because it's that first opportunity to make a great first impression. Yeah, they've seen us online, maybe they've seen photos on our Instagram, but seeing it in person is not the same. And so we feel strongest as a team, as a sales team, when we're belly to belly with the person, because we really get to know them. As I mentioned earlier, relationships are really important to us. So we want to be able to ask those questions, get to know them. So then at the end of the tour, we built them the custom proposal. It's a little different from, just the venue rental where it's like a flat fee, here's the price. We actually build a proposal with them based on the different services, the vendor partners that we have. And then
so everything's different, right? It's not the same.
It's not the same. And so that honestly is, I'll save this, I guess, for the next question, but it is one of the struggles, because sometimes clients want all the information up front, right? When they're seeing the pricing for an all-inclusive venue, well, it's hard for us to give them that price right away, because there's so many options. There's so many items that can be customized, different bar packages, catering packages. So in that initial proposal, we'll do a sample for them, give them kind of a ballpark of what their investment will be. And then if they're ready to sign up today, we go into signing an agreement. They pay the first payment on their proposal, and then that locks in their date. And then from there, we have additional planning resources for them within a CRM. So as I mentioned, we offer in-house wedding planning and coordination. So really what we offer is partial wedding planning and day of coordination, and they are matched to their coordinator 6 months out. But even prior to that 6 month mark, we have this auto campaign that we have built that will say, hey, this is a great time to, send your invitations, or have you thought about room blocks? Here's a resource for room blocks. So we've tried to marry technology into our customer service, and it makes our job a lot easier. So I would say that's kind of, on the whole, the general booking process with us.
Plus, you're helping them along the way, right? Like with those kind of things. What you said, make sure they're a good fit. What would you say is the key qualification for someone that is a good fit for your venue?
I would say a key fit for us, number one, obviously weddings are an investment. Our venue, there's going to be a certain investment when booking Madera Estates. And I think it's making sure that they understand the value of the experience that they're going to have with us. If somebody's coming in and they're just like, budget dollar, my budget's X, I'm not flexible, that's not the client for us.
I got you.
At the end of the day, we really want to help of course, we're going to explore all the options.
Absolutely.
But for us, when we start getting a lot of questions about like, well, can we change this about what you do? Can we change this about what we do? Can we do this ourselves? We really want the client that wants that hands-off experience.
Gotcha.
We want the client that's going to come in here that says, you know what, Ian, we're paying this money at Madera Estates because we trust you. You're the professionals. Yeah. And when we start getting these little red flags of questions where they think they know they can do it better than us, to me, that's not a good fit for us.
That makes sense.
We don't manage their expectations, and it's just not going to be a good working relationship. And so sometimes we just say, hey, we don't think you're the right fit for a couple of reasons. And sometimes it's not even financial. Yeah. It's because, they just want to bend things backwards with what we do here. And in the 10 years experience that we've had, we've learned a lot. We've been burned a couple times. We learned the signals of, clients that we need to say no to. Yeah. But in terms of, your question about like, what is a quality lead? What is somebody that we're looking for? Somebody that obviously sees the value in the services at Madera, and the services that we provide.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. How long in advance are you guys booking, and what do you recommend to clients or like right now? Because I know things are really tight right now, but yeah, what do you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I would say on average, most people are looking about a year in advance. It's different market to market. It feels like here, especially based on seasonality in Texas, it's hot over the summer. So fall season, we oftentimes see 18 to 24 months in advance. Gotcha. Just because October, November in Texas, you can't really get much better than that.
No,
And it's one of my favorite times of year. And those dates are definitely a hot commodity. We have people still coming in looking for 11/11, and I'm just like, that's been booked for 2 years, and so it's, in reality, most people are 12 months, but then looking at the fall months, it sometimes can be pretty far out. We're already getting, we as a venue, we don't book further out than 2 years, just because we want to be able to control, our expenses, changes and costs.
Especially costs right now.
Yeah, so 2 years is really our booking max. And every now and then, I mean, we get people that are just like, I'm already looking at 2025. I'm like, okay, well, here's a quote. We can't book your date until 2 years in advance. And our record for the shortest booking time frame was 5 weeks.
Wow.
Full-blown, all-inclusive wedding. That's not the norm. And we're still getting people inquiring for this fall too, which is really exciting for us, fill in some weekday dates as well. But yeah, I would say on average 12 months is.
You guys do one wedding a day at the space?
We do. We only host one wedding a day. I can't imagine it because I know it'd be a lot of work, but I can't imagine trying to squeeze in 2 weddings in one day here. It would be too much. And I don't know if that's the experience that we want to give our clients. I think they would just feel rushed at the end.
So when they book a day, it's their day. They can come in and do what they do with your help.
So we only host one wedding a day. They have access to our 2 suites. at 11 a.m. They come here, get ready, hang out all day, have lunch delivered, whatever they want.
Nice.
And then we actually have a late night beverage permit. So they, in theory, could extend their reception, their ceremony reception until 2 a.m.
Oh, nice.
And every now and then, we get the clients that they want to have that epic party. They don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So they just extend their reception and dance till the night away.
Yeah,
I can't stay up that long. I get tired. I'm an old man.
Me too. Yeah, by 10 o'clock, man, I'm ready for sleep.
Oh yeah, 10 o'clock rolls out. I'm like pajamas on.
Yeah. What is there any specific advice you would give couples today? I know things are kind of crazy, like they've been crazy for the past couple of years, but today, what advice would you give couples?
I would say, in regards to booking your venue and booking your vendors, don't wait too long. If there's a date you want, if you want that vendor, go ahead and book it. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, yes, you want to make an informed decision, but you don't want to sit on it too long. We continually get people, well, I just want to wait a little bit longer. And I get it. Nobody wants to be forced into anything. I'll give you from firsthand experience. I got married February 2020. I got married on February 29th, Leap Day. And my husband and I were trying to, have this amazing wedding. We wanted, especially being in the wedding industry, we wanted to go all out. And we knew we wanted alpacas, wedding alpacas for nice. Have become very popular. And there's a vendor here in Houston, Texas Party Animals, that does alpacas for weddings. So I had just met her and our date was very popular. She had 4 inquiries. And my fiance, that now husband, was like, well, I really want to think about it. Let's make sure this is what we want to do. And I relayed the information to him that they had 4 other inquiries. They could only do 1 wedding a day. And so we thought about it for 5 days, which we thought was pretty quick, right? So we thought about it and messaged the vendor back. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Somebody else already put down a deposit. Your date's booked. And needless to say, that was our first wedding fight because I really wanted the wedding alpacas. So then we went to there's a happy ending though, I promise. So we went to the second choice, which was the beer donkeys, which ended up being more expensive because we had to get them in from Austin, which is about 3 hours away from where we are. Right. And then the vendor messaged me back after I had put deposit down on the beer donkeys. And she's like, well, since you're in the wedding industry and the other wedding I'm doing is not too far from yours, I'm willing to make an exception and do 2 weddings in a day if I can come later in the evening to your reception. And I was like, well, are we crazy for doing both? We said, hell with it, let's do it. So we had beer donkeys and alpacas. Awesome. But that's not going to happen with every couple. Once a vendor is booked, especially somebody who is like a sole proprietor, like a photographer or a videographer or the alpacas in this case, or a wedding venue, right? We only do 1 wedding a day. Yeah. Go ahead and make your decision. Don't wait too long. You're just going to be disappointed if you just delay the inevitable, right?
So in other words, if you want that thing, make the decision, do it.
100%. If that's what you want, go with it. We were just talking to a couple out in LA. They have family here in Houston, but they're moving forward in the booking process because they know they want a specific date. They want that Sunday of Labor Day weekend in September. And I'm like, I can't hold the date without a signed contract in the first payment. And they're like, you know what? This is what we want. We don't want to lose it. I said, great. I think you should. Even though it's, what is that? A little over a year away, 15 months out, but they want that date. If you know what you want and you like the venue, like, let's just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't wait. Carpe diem is my life motto. Seize the day.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my biggest piece of advice for couples.
That's great advice. What would you say couples are asking for today that they weren't asking for maybe a few years ago?
Obviously, because of COVID and the pandemic, we do get a lot more questions about cancellation, postponement policies. So that obviously is to be expected, I think, from what we went through as a society. And so I would say that gets brought up almost every time. Yeah. And my general rule of thumb is if they don't bring it up, I'm not going to bring it up. They're going to see it in the contract anyway. You know, if they don't mention
Yeah.
COVID, I don't mention COVID.
Yeah.
So I would say that's one of them. Payment plan flexibility. I will say over the years, our payment structure has changed a little bit. And really, it's not that much. Originally, we were doing 25% down. We broke it into 4 equal payments. And so I would say our average client was probably spending between $25,000 and $30,000 on the services that we provided or the partner vendors that we could work with. So we'd break that amount into 4 equal payments, and we would do like 25% upon signing. 60 days after signing would be the next payment. Gotcha. And then the other 2 payments would move forward to 90 days before the wedding. And then the final payment always was 30 days out. And so many couples were just, it was really that first payment. And a lot of it was just mental and I think semantics for people. Mm-hmm. So then we ended up breaking out that 4 payment plan into an 8 payment plan.
Really?
And so within the first 4 months, they're paying the first 4 payments instead of the first 3 months. And then the 120 day mark, or 150 day rather, prior to their wedding, they start making the next payments. So even though the time frame on our end would only shifted about 30 days, it has actually helped us close more sales because it's that initial, I think, payment. That first payment went from 25%, which in some cases, you know, was anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000, or even more than that, $6,000 to $8,000,
$5,000 to $10,000, right?
Yeah.
Right now.
And then it went down to now it's between 3 to 5, sometimes 6, depending on the wedding. So that actually has helped us a lot, and it really wasn't any skin off our back.
Yeah, because you're still getting the same amount of resources in.
Correct.
You're making it easier for the couple to digest it.
Right.
You know.
And so when I started as the venue director 5 years ago, we really only offered the 4 payment plan. Mm-hmm. And we just kept getting more couples, and we found ourselves making more exceptions, right, to be more flexible with breaking them out. So we just decided, you know what if we just create this? And it's helped our sales for sure, because it's that first payment that for that initial shock, right? They're just like, oh, $10,000.
Yeah.
It's a little more digestible. So I would say those 2 things we're finding more people that are talking about now than they were before. And I do find now we still get a good number of couples that don't ask questions.
Interesting.
I feel, and especially, I feel like our couples, and this is something we'll talk about in a little bit about, you know, what is a struggle for us, but it always comes down to education, right? Educating the client and helping them understand the questions that they should ask.
Yeah.
But sometimes I find some of our couples, they're just like, yeah, this is what we want. No questions asked.
Wow.
So that has been surprising to me as well. What are you hearing? I'm curious to know, when you saw that question, what are other venues telling you?
They're telling me exactly the same thing you said. I mean, everybody I've interviewed so far, which you're the 4th podcast episode, basically have said COVID. The COVID questions have been the number one thing that have come up every single time, around cancellation fees. What's your policies around these things? Like, these are questions that no one was asking, you know, prior to the pandemic, right? So now people are asking these questions, and I don't know, that's the shift that everyone is pretty much seeing the same thing. I will say, great recognition on your payment plan process, because that's something that probably shifted and helped you guys quite a bit. Especially with that initial barrier. You're right. I mean, that initial shock and barrier of putting down, you know, all right, I'm going to spend $30,000 and I've got to put out, you know, 10 grand right now, is, you know.
Yeah, no, it definitely helped us a lot. And what one item that I was going to piggyback off of in terms of the COVID cancellation postponement, we didn't really change our policy in terms of cancellation, even with COVID. The only thing that we have amended is now we actually incentivize our clients to purchase event cancellation or postponement insurance.
Yeah, that's the other thing others have said too. They one of the venues said that they actually have insurance built into their
For the cost.
into their into their whole contract. It's like, it's part of the contract. So if and it's an extra $400 fee.
Yep.
And then if you go buy somebody else's, they'll even recoup you that cost and then just give you theirs.
Yeah. So we do something similar. If they provide proof of purchase of a policy, we'll credit them $250. And almost all of our couples now purchase that event cancellation postponement insurance because they don't want to be in the same position a lot of our clients were in during COVID.
Yeah.
And we have firsthand experience. I had some couples during COVID that had insurance and a lot that didn't. And the ones that had it, man, they were feeling fine. They weren't worried at all, and so it's an honest conversation. In the beginning, I always hesitated, talking about that, and obviously things come with experience. But now that we've gone through COVID and I'm used to answering that question, it's we just answer it with confidence and hey, this is what it is, right?
Yeah. I think the same as you. Larger companies and more well-established have been around for a while, already had policies in place to address these things. It's just the conversation has now come up because it wasn't then, right? People weren't thinking about it. Yep. And now that you have this whole scenario, which could happen again, right? So and for a while, it'll be the conversation, right? Until things settle down and we get comfortable with, living with this stuff. And then it won't be the top of the question scene, right? It'll be a little bit less. So
very much.
Yeah. Hey, last question I have for you.
Okay.
And this is perfect because you started 6 years ago. If you had to go back 5-6 years ago, right? What would you tell yourself? I
would say be patient, be authentic, be yourself. I feel like a lot of times when you're, especially with like the sales side, and communicating with vendors, you try to be somebody that you're not, and you try to be something for everybody, if that makes sense. You're eager because you want business, you want people to come in the door, you try to do anything and everything. I think at the end of the day, what I have learned is to step back and kind of what we were talking about, like qualifying our leads too, is, you know what, not everybody is a Madera client. And Madera isn't for everybody. And that I don't take that as a personal offense anymore, right? It's, you might like chocolate ice cream. Well, I prefer vanilla ice cream. They're still both great, right? But we have different tastes. And so I think be patient, be understanding, don't take it personally. At the end of the day, there's a little bit of green for everybody in the greater Houston area. And you probably have more accurate data than I do, but I feel like the past couple of years, there's always like 40,000 weddings that are happening in the Houston area. I just need a little percent of that, right? We do about 100 weddings and events a year, and we're happy with that. Yeah. Well, the market there is growing. I mean, a lot of people are moving to that area, to Texas, Austin, Houston. I mean, that whole area is just growing. Well, Texas in general is growing ridiculously. I mean, you've probably seen it with housing prices and it's awful. We're sitting tight right now. We haven't, but no, I think over the years, if I had to go back and say something to my former self, I would say be patient, be yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not, and be authentic. Awesome. We're not going to be able to be everything to everybody. Yeah. Great advice. Ian, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Shane. All right.